Breaking news this hour, Sports Interactive has released a new article about the match engine, which of course we didn't get a look at in the stream because they were using an old alpha, and it's an article instead of, pictures or animations or anything, but it's something. Back to you, Clark. His name's Liam, actually. As you might have been able to figure out from the intro, just maybe, Sports Interactive has released some information about the new match engine that we're going to get on FM20, and I'm excited about it. I'm pretty easily excitable, though. Just as a quick aside, so that we're clear on what exactly the match engine is, because a surprisingly large number of people are not clear, and I used to be one of those people way more recently than I would like to admit. The match engine is the underlying code, not clothes, that make the people move. It's the underlying code that makes the people move around. It is not the graphics, per se. It is not how the players look. It is how the players move that is the match engine. It's the decisions that they make, the positions that they go into. It's not the lighting, how the field looks, how the stands. That's not the match engine. The match engine itself is the code that's making the players move, and how realistic that is. And the ball, I suppose. The ball's moving too. All the stuff that's moving, that's the match engine. And the graphics are completely separate. And we've actually already seen the graphics, and the improvements could be considered marginal at best. So we know the match engine is the main focus when it comes to the game day experience. I think that's the term we're going to use from now on. Despite the normal self-patting on the back, the self-aggrandization, words, baby, that normally goes on in articles like this, because obviously they're not showing us any videos of, hey, this is what it looks like, this is the new feature, this is the new match engine, congratulations, nobody's going to make a mistake. And how could you show the video of it? Because you just need to see that defenders aren't heading the ball to the other team anymore. That would be nice, right? This article lays out some of the concrete improvements that have been made to the match engine, including one that I think is incredibly crazy and shows that the team has been working on, well, I don't want to say they weren't working on the match engine before, because they're always trying to improve it, but this one shows that this year the match engine was a particular priority, and that one is number 4. It's number 4. Number 4 is particularly cool, but here are 5 quotes that I've pulled from the article, and they are the best 5 quotes that are going to tell you really all the major changes that are being made to the match engine in the words of Sports Interactive. Just as a reminder, if you like this video, please like and subscribe the channel. You don't subscribe the channel, you subscribe to the channel, because I can speak English. Liking the video is super easy. Just go down there, tap the button. It makes a huge difference for us, and if you subscribe, hopefully you'll get a bunch more videos that you do enjoy, like this one. Anyways, let's drop in. Number 1! So the first of the 5 important quotes is, the match team have watched and analyzed hundreds of matches over the course of the development cycle for FM20, and drawn on their own coaching experience as well as the expertise of our contacts within the football industry to fine-tune. I just wanted to point that out to let you know how freaking hard it is to make a match engine that's an accurate reflection, and while we're sitting here nitpicking the fact that they're heading the ball to the defense every once in a while, the fact that everything else seems to be working particularly well, that 1v1s aren't endlessly maddening anymore, that everything seems to get better every year, and the problems of last year seem to dissipate into the ones that we have in the next year, and then sometimes new problems are created. They put in a lot of effort. Hundreds of hours of sitting there watching matches, which honestly, now that I think about it, doesn't sound awful, but when you're watching the matches specifically to study how the players are moving, and it's not a match that you're particularly interested in, we go from all pleasure to definitely a job, and they're definitely working hard. So you got to keep that in mind. Provide some context when we're going in on whether we like the match engine or not, because they really are trying, and they make a game that clearly we all enjoy to some extent because we're all here. Now to the second quote that I pulled from the article. Players will now make more intelligent and realistic off-the-ball runs during attacking phases of play, and these are contextualized to their position and selected player role. I have good thoughts and bad thoughts about this one. I feel like it could go both ways. It could turn offense in Football Manager into a very realistic looking experience, where it is kind of realistic, but there are just certain ways you score goals in Football Manager. Low crosses, angled runs, the ball over the top. There's just a couple of a few ways you feel like you can score goals in mass. You know, that classic 18-yard shot for the midfielder when the defender's on the back hip and for some reason doesn't close them down and they bend it in the top corner. We've all seen it, right? Well, now these players, depending on their role, are going to make more specialized runs. Later on in this portion of the article, they talk about how the inverted winger is going to make out to in runs from left to right if you're an attacking left midfielder, and if you're an attacking right midfielder, it's the opposite way, right? From going from right to left. Each role, it seems like, is going to have more specialized runs that are going to challenge the defense and create a bunch of different ways to score goals. I think it's also going to put more onus on the tactician, which would, of course, be you and me and everybody else, are going to have to make the right decisions, because the players are not just going to drift to all the familiar spots. We're going to be creating a very specific way for our team to attack, a much more specific way for our team to attack than before. The downside of this quote is that, oh boy, if they go too far, and all of a sudden every offense is completely unstoppable because there are so many creative runs that the defense and the long-lauded defensive decision-making and man-marking system could just be behind the times and could lose out and every match is 5-3, and we need a major patch to bring it back down. This is, of course, a possibility, and it's the pessimistic side of me. It's the same side of me that thinks that the new overhaul to the board decision-making is going to mean people are getting fired all over the place. It's possible, and it's something to be wary of, but there is an opportunity to just create dominant offensive tactics, I suppose, no matter what, because you should be able to get a lot more creativity and a lot more diversification in your offense. Moving on to the third quote, this actually has something to do with more intelligent, creative decision-making and basic common sense that the match engine sometimes just right over. Players will now look to shift the ball onto their stronger foot for a shot or a cross. How many times does your left foot only left back see a defender somewhere near them pull the ball back to their right foot and put it in the 10th row trying to cross the ball? Apparently that's not going to happen anymore, or at least not nearly as much, because they are coding in an even more specific emphasis to have the people go to their stronger foot. The people go to their stronger foot. Midfielders taking shots from the edge of the box are no longer just going to go to their weak foot. They might actually go to their strong foot every once in a while. Now, the intelligence of the player, remember, you can't, if you get the match engine and you're playing in Vanarama North, and your left back, who's left foot only, does exactly what I just described, it's probably because he's dumb. You cannot solely blame the match engine. It's just if you're Man City and the guy continuously does it, that yeah, the match engine's probably got a problem. But just keep in mind, before you go flying nunchucks flailing on Twitter at SI or Miles or whoever else you're aiming your angst at, it does come down to the player intelligence still. It always will. That's why there are so many attributes, and they all run from, you know, there's like 1,000, or I don't know. I can't count today. We're just going to move on. It's on a scale, a very large, specific scale on each attribute, and if being higher on that attribute means that you should make more intelligence decisions or better plays more of the time. So it's not always the match engine, but by and large, there's now going to be a specific piece of code, or they're attempting a specific piece of code to make the players go to their stronger foot more often. You're kind of surprised that they have to type this specifically, because you'd feel like where the match engine is, it would have already been an emphasis that the players would go to their stronger foot, but nonetheless, happy they've taken care of it now. They seem to think they've taken care of it, so that's good. I mentioned that number 4 was a doozy also. Sorry, I couldn't come up with a transition there. I mentioned number 4 was a doozy, and we're on number 4. And number 4 is the counter to these more creative offensive moves that we were talking about with number 2. Number 4 is the entirety of the marking code in the game has been rewritten. All of it. The entire code for marking in the match engine has been rewritten. Everything you know about marking in the Football Manager match engine is different. Now, you will never have a similar marking experience. They've completely rewritten it. They ripped it out. They said, we just can't work with this code anymore. They completely rewrote the marking code. For the last couple of years, the break the game tactics in Football Manager have all gone after the marking code. the inability to mark this specific look, the inability to mark that specific look. Not to mention the fact that a lot of the frustration that goes into the match engine is with defenders making illogical mistakes, mistakes that they should not be making. You have to come up with realistic ways for defenders to get beaten instead of them wandering off to Narnia. And it sounds like they're attempting to do that. Now, do I know if the marking code being rewritten means it's going to be better or worse? No. But you're more likely than not, it's going to be better. Or else they wouldn't have ripped the whole thing out and installed a completely new marking system for this game to help counter the new offensive code. I guess they added code to the offensive side too. For me, this is the purest, best news that's in this article. The most obvious example of something being great in this article about the match engine, that they've just rewritten the entire code. This isn't saying, oh, we've done this, we've done that in a practical what you will see sense. This is pulling back the screen of, oh, we made them go onto their stronger foot more often. Well, how did you do it? What did you do to fix the marking? Oh, we rewrote the whole code. I just hope it works out because I appreciate the effort and the marking needed it. The final one's on goalkeepers. Goalkeepers now parry the ball in a more natural way and will look to turn the ball around the post more often, as opposed to parrying the ball back out into the penalty area. Yes, parrying the ball in Football Manager is non-existent. And when it does happen, past this non-existence, it's always bad. They're always punching it to someone who's about to volley it into the back of the net. Adding intentional goalkeeper parrying that is actually intelligent is going to be really, really helpful. You could end up where goalkeepers are parrying basically everything, turning everything around the post, which of course they do on raw saves, but the intentional parrying, which means those intelligent goalkeepers are going to have a leg up. They're going to be able to move the ball away from attacking players on shots, at least in theory, is really valuable, and it was going to cut out a lot of the goalkeeper mistakes. And this was part of a broader announcement about goalkeepers where they are making a ton of minor tweaks to goalkeeper positioning, to goalkeeper animations that are going to improve the gameplay of goalkeepers who always draw ire, whether in real life or in the match engine. So I think that's just one of the things the match engine gets right. Nobody likes goalkeepers, because if they do their job, then they're doing their job, and if they don't, then they are the worst and the reason your team lost in video games and real life. So that's good enough. They are trying to improve the goalkeepers, though, and this is the quote that I picked out that just, I thought, exemplified the effort they're putting in and something I didn't expect them to add, which was more realistic parrying and kind of intentional parrying to make intelligent goalkeepers and not just really good shot-stopping goalkeepers more valuable. Speaking of getting more valuable, now that we've finished the list, please let us know down in the comments how we can improve making videos for you. Maybe what video you would want to see us make next as we rev things up for FM20. And also let us know how you think this match engine's going to go. I will post the first comment. I'm going to go 8 out of 10. So if you watch this far in the video, you know what the comment's going to say. I think I'm going to go 8 out of 10 on how good the match engine's going to be. And it all really depends on how good the offensive changes are, because they can be too good. If you want to hang out with me personally, I stream on Twitch 4 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. I'd love to see you there. The link is right in front of you. It's also down below, and you'll be able to check that out. No problem. We playing a lot of FM19. We're just wrapping up our final season, actually, right now. And then if the beta still hasn't come out, I've got to find something else to do with my life. And that something else might be called Modern Warfare. No shame. Anywho, I'm just gonna end the video. I'm never using that word again. Anywho, as you might have been able to figure out from the intro. Brute me, really?